Join us this morning, bankers, I should say, Mr. Robert Jatto, Chief Executive Officer, of course, which you know, CEO of the Chartered Institute of Bankers Ghana, CIB Ghana, and it is Bankers Week, if you didn't know. A lot of people are quite familiar with the Chartered Institute of Bankers, but for those who do not know, tell us or maybe reiterate who they are, your mandate, what you really stand for.
Thank you very much, MFA. Chartered Institute of Bankers Ghana, our mandate is to promote banking education, but also regulate the practice of the banking profession. And that's a responsibility or a mandate we have under the Chartered Institute of Bankers Act 2019, Act 991. People ask me, what does that actually mean? It means putting ethics, professionalism, and sustainability high on the agenda of banks and bankers. It also means developing trusted professionals for the financial services sector, and certainly being the talent and thought leadership engine for our financial sector, but also the economy and the country as a whole. And so that's a responsibility and a mandate that we've been very, very passionate about. And we run a series of programs, the Chartered Banker Qualification, which is the main ACIB flagship program. We also have the Executive Leadership Program, which is a Chartered Banker for Executive Leadership for people in key management positions across the financial sector. We have ESG, environmental, social, and governance and sustainability-related programs. And even more importantly, we have a certification in ethics, which is Ethics 2.0, which is coming up very shortly.
So that's what you call Ethics 2.0. Okay. I mean, why is it important for a banker to be chartered? I just want you to take care of my money. Why is it important?
That's a good question, a great question, MFA. Imagine you go to your hospital, and there are two people sitting there, both doctors. One is by experience, hasn't got to any school, hasn't been trained, most importantly, doesn't subscribe to a code of conduct. Which of these doctors would you see? And so for us at Chartered Institute of Bankers, it's important that we put trusted professionals at the heart of the financial system. And that's why it's crucially important that those who work in banking and the broader financial ecosystem have the appropriate qualification, but also continuously improve themselves, which is what we call the CPD, continuing professional development. Okay. And even more importantly, subscribe to the code of conduct of the profession, which is banking. Of course, we all know the challenges we've had in our banking system. If you go back in the last 7 years or so, the banking sector cleaned up the high NPL, sometimes the fraud cases. I think it's crucially important that we put ethics at the heart of what we do. We put competence at the heart of what we do. And of course, there must be conduct, people playing within the rules, because the financial service sector is highly regulated, right? But there must also be consequences when people get it wrong. That way, you can be sure that your money is safe. You can be sure that your money will work as hard as you are working. And
it's good to know that you're rolling out this program soon, Ethic 2.0. Let's talk about the Bankers Week, which I'm excited about. Sometimes you people are so serious in the banks, with your shoes and your suits and jackets. I didn't think there was a whole week dedicated for a lot of activities. This year, the Bankers Week, tell me the theme, and then we'll discuss the program outline.
Sure. So yes, you're absolutely right. Bankers are extremely busy people. And so the Bankers Week, even though it's called a week, it's a series of activities, programs over a period. But it's concentrated within a week as well in terms of the activity. So this year's theme is really on building future-ready banks, ethical leadership, sustainable finance, and currency stability. And I think that is very much relevant to where we are today, but also the future that we seek. You know, if you think about banking and all the disruptions that we face, as Chartered Institute of Bankers Ghana, we believe that it's important to put a focus on how do we continue to drive the financial system, but sustaining the business model, the operating model, and the revenue models of banks. How do we do that digitally? How do we do that collaborating with fintechs and others? But even more importantly, how do we ensure the stability of our sovereign currency and identity?
I was just wondering, so this theme, does it really fit in the reality? If you did a reality check of the financial industry or the banking sector in Ghana, but you have just rightly explained it and quite a perfect theme for it. But I also see that there is an annual conference on ethics as well part of the celebration?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So there are a series of activities, and we started a couple of weeks back. One is Sports for Life, where we brought bankers out to exercise. Okay. And we also had some conversations around cancer awareness and well-being and stress management. Just yesterday, we had a webinar on non-interest banking, which is ethical banking, if you like. Okay. Then next week, Tuesday, we have what we call the National Banking and Ethics Conference. And that's where we'll be having conversations around the theme, but also there will be two different panel conversations, one on the practitioners panel, looking at how do we ensure ethical leadership in the banking sector, how do we ensure sustainability and sustainable finance. And that's a big area. If you think about all the galamsey issues we face, the environmental destruction, what role should banks play, and how do we ensure that we continue to develop and maximize profit and purpose today, but also not compromising what the future generation will need.
That's interesting.
And so that conversation will happen. We have some very seasoned panelists, including IFC, Bank of Ghana will be there. And then we have the regulatory panel, which will be how do we continue to ensure the stability and sustainability of the currency, and most importantly, the resilience of the cedi in the midst of all the crypto disruptions that we face. So yeah. I think it will be very exciting. And
crypto conversation will also come up in that.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. Let's talk about some bankers that are graduating as well. So if I understand, they've chartered and they're graduating.
Yes.
Is that it?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm glad to say that over the last 4 or 5 years, we've graduated more than 1,000 chartered bankers, and I call them trusted professionals working across the financial sector, and some work outside of the financial sector, by the way. So on the 14th of November, in fact, December, I should say, we'll be graduating a number of chartered bankers, people who have gone through the main ACIB, the Chartered Banker Qualification. They've written exams from level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, and we'll be celebrating them. So that will happen. Of course, we also have those who have gone through the executive leadership program who will also be graduating.
Okay.
And we take the opportunity to invite all our stakeholders, the families and friends who have supported this newly minted, if you like, chartered bankers to come and celebrate with them.
That's happening on the... Let me check the date for you, but I know it's happening in December.
Correct.
Okay, but as well you have a ceremony, Carol's Night, that will crown. It's more like a Thanksgiving.
Yes, so we do have the, beyond the graduation, we have what we call the Governor's Day.
Okay.
But before the Governor's Day, we have what we call the Thanksgiving and
It's a busy week for you.
It is really a hectic week.
Yeah.
But again,
I see you say it's a week, but I see that there are pockets of activities.
Absolutely.
You put all together each day, then it's calculated to 7.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And most importantly, the Governor's Day will be a time where we hear the reflections of the central bank governor, but also his guidelines or guidance for the coming year. And I think that's where we bring all the managing directors and all our stakeholders together. But of course, we also have a financial literacy program, which is currently running. We go to secondary schools. We teach our younger brothers and sisters about ethical leadership, about digital literacy, but also about financial literacy. Because when we did this last 3 years in Ashanti region, and last year we did Volta region and Eastern region, this year we are doing Greater Accra and Central, we discovered very strangely that our younger brothers and sisters are betting, and sometimes they bet with their school fees. So you are sitting here thinking your son is in school learning. Sometimes they are not. So someone has a responsibility, and at Chartered Institute of Bankers Ghana, we believe that that's one of the responsibilities we have. So we did Accra Academy yesterday. Okay. Today we are doing English and Math Room Secondary School. We have Swedru Business School on the 14th or so of November.
You're trying to spread it across the country, would you not?
Yes.
Okay.
And so we're calling on all our chartered bankers to join us so that we can take financial literacy to our younger brothers and sisters. And it's crucially important that we tackle the secondary schools and maybe lower, because they then take the message to their mothers, to our mothers in the marketplaces. So that's why it's crucially important that we take this. Fortunately, Bank of Ghana is also pushing this agenda, and they're taking the currency conversation along with us in terms of how do you handle that precious currency, because the cost of printing the currency it can be very expensive. So
conversation we should sit down on maybe sometime later again.
Absolutely.
Cost of printing currency. But that's the final words to the CIB members, stakeholders, and everybody watching you this morning.
Sure. To all our students, members, fellows, colleagues, and we are really asking you to participate actively in the various events that are coming up. The Governor's Day, which is happening on the 20th of December, but even more importantly, next week, Tuesday, we have the National Banking and Ethics Conference. We'd like you to join us. That will be part of your CPD requirements, but we extend this to the wider economy and actors within the economy to join us. It will be very exciting, and I look forward to seeing all of you.
You have a website that people can go to and take?
Absolutely. So if you just Google Chartered Institute of Bankers Ghana, you find all our programs, or the key management, the governance structure, and all the things, exciting things that we've been doing throughout the year.
Thank you so much. Mr. Robert Jattu is Chief Executive Officer of the Chartered Institute of Bankers. And as bankers, we say look out for it. If you have a family or a friend who is a banker, ask them whether they have chartered. And if not, the activity is happening, they should get involved. But thank you so much
for
joining us.
Very much.
You as well stay this more.